Hello, good morning, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Brittany Jones, and I am a spiritual guide, tarot reader, and life coach. Um, since today is the new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius, I really wanted to come on here. I feel like um, the sacral chakra, I just did a info session on my Facebook page for the sacral chakra, which represents change, and so do eclipses. They both represent significant change. So I have a chakra spread that I'm going to do for the collective on how to welcome in your change within different aspects and areas of your life. So that's what we're going to be doing this morning, this beautiful morning, as I get my day started. So the first question and if you see me looking over, I have the spread and notes right here. Where can we be more creative in our lives? And we have the Ace of Wands and Justice energy. So Justice energy, Libra energy, it's about balance. It's about partnerships, duality. To me, this is all about manifestation, because Justice energy is about karma, right? And whatever your actions, whatever consequences come by means of your actions. And with the Ace of Wands, this is initiating what you want to come back. So being more mindful about what it is that we want, the direction that we're going in, and how to make it happen. With the Page of Pentacles at the bottom, this could do with home and family, and this could also do with financial ventures, new financial ventures, creative ideas. The Ace of Wands is a spark of inspiration, and the Justice card is that spark of inspiration coming into fruition. But as you can see, there's a light and a dark aspect to this Justice energy. So depending on what's on our minds, what we're thinking, and what type of action we are taking in the direction of what it is we want, is going to determine what we get back, either positive or negative, light or dark energy. So that is how we can bring more creativity into our lives. I feel like more following our intuition and taking action in the direction of what it is we want, so that we can create the desired outcome that we want. Okay. What changes are happening in our lives right now, and how are we responding to them? What changes are happening in our lives right now for the collective? General messages may not resonate with everyone. And how are we responding to them? Okay. The World and the Five of Cups. Okay, wow. So changes, significant changes, endings are what's happening. And I feel like specifically within this collective energy, and at this time, a lot of this world energy, things coming to a conclusion, has to do with friends and family, and us mourning whatever it is. So the changes that are happening in our lives right now, are significant periods of our lives are coming to an end, and we're sad about it. It hurts to let go of certain things. We're holding on with the Five of Cups. We're holding on to things that no longer serve us. We're resisting change and not allowing cycles to complete themselves, which is not really allowing us to receive what's due to us, because we've gone through a lot with the world energy here. We've been through a lot. We've learned a lot of lessons. We've experienced a lot, and we are owed some significant change with the Wheel of Fortune. And it's prosperous, and it's blessings, and it's beneficial, but we're not allowing it to come in because we're holding on to what we can't control. We're holding on to the past. We're holding on to past cycles, past circumstances, past versions of ourselves, people that we've had in our lives for an extremely long time that we have to let go of, and we don't want to. Places, work, situations that we're holding on to. It could, like I said, places, so it could be homes or cities that we're holding on to. Either way it goes, there are chapters in our lives that are closing out right now, that are trying to make room for prosperity and blessings with the Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck. But the way that we're responding to it is loathsomely and longingly and resentfully and regretfully, not wanting to let go. of certain aspects and chapters in our lives. Look at the difference between these two women. So this is what's happening in our lives right now. We've learned lessons. We're moving forward. We passed tests. We're ready for a new chapter in our life, and it's happy. It's blessings. It's good. It's positive. Look at how happy she is. But this is how we feel about it, and this is how we're responding to it, with sadness and despair and longing and regret and hope, wishing that we could go back or that we could keep certain things or maintain certain things. But it doesn't work like that. In order to welcome in the new, we have to be willing to clear out the old. How can I shift my focus? How can we shift our focus, Spirit, in order to relieve this grief or any form of grief? Five of Cups is definitely grieving. So how can we shift our focus in order to relieve this grief? The Moon. A lot of major arcana here. Temperance is at the bottom of the deck. So to me, the Moon is about exploring your deep emotions. It's also about addressing illusions. So there are things that are in our lives right now that we're not seeing clearly. We don't see things clearly as they are because the Moon talks about secrets, it talks about illusions. And then I'm also seeing like a balance, definitely, with the Temperance energy and then the light and dark energy of the Moon, balancing our emotions and our faith at this time is how we can process this grief. One, we need to feel it with the Moon energy. We need to feel the grief and accept it instead of resisting it, pushing against it. I don't want this to happen. I'm uncomfortable with it happening. Sit in the fact that it's uncomfortable and discover and determine and journal what it is that you're uncomfortable with. Eyes on me about it. Yeah, sit with what you're uncomfortable with, maybe journal about it so that you can uncover it, because there are certain things that I feel like we're in denial about with this Moon energy, that need to be illuminated, things that need to come to light so that we can see exactly how we're showing up and really address those emotions, find balance. My song came on and threw me off a little bit. But that is, I think, how we shift our focus. So there are things that are happening, changes that we're making in our lives. We need to take action towards what it is that we do want so that we can bring about the desired result. But what is happening, what's fogging up this Ace of Wands energy is the Five of Cups, where we're sad and we're depressed and we're holding on to the past instead of letting it go, allowing chapters to close so that we can move on. And the best way for us to deal with that at this time is by really sitting with our emotions, by really exploring how it is that we feel, finding emotional balance, finding emotional clarity, accepting our emotions. Okay. What desires do we have that we do not feel worthy of receiving? And how can we work on that? So what desires do we have that we don't feel worthy of receiving? Wow. So for some, this is love. But what I truly feel from this card is connection, support, devotion, loyalty, harmony, peace, balance, understanding, right? Clarity. Six of the Lovers is about decision making. So clarity to make certain decisions. That these are the desires of our heart. For some specifically, this is love. This is a very intimate relationship. For others, it could be a very trustworthy partnership, non-romantic, platonic partnership. But for some, this is passion and love and romance. But it also is peace and harmony and duality and a blending of two opposing forces, so that balance that we've already talked about. So how can we work on that, Spirit? Trust. Trust yourself. Trust God, trust your guides, trust your discernment when it comes to the people that you allow in your life so that you can trust others. Because you have to first trust yourself before you can trust another person. And if you're not making good decisions about the people that you allow in your life, of course it's going to be difficult for you to trust them. Eight of Wands is at the bottom of the deck. So communication is a good way to work on it. Nine of Swords. And addressing fears associated. Yeah. So for some, there are relationships that are blocking our desires, and we need to communicate our concerns. Even though we're afraid of hurting someone's feelings, we're afraid of disappointing someone, letting them down, offending someone. But there are certain things, there are relationships that we know are no longer serving us, that don't make us happy. They just genuinely don't make us happy. They don't put us in a good place. When these people come around us, we don't feel positive. They bring down the vibe. They come with all these problems. They're not understanding or considerate. They don't reciprocate energy unless they feel like it. There's some sort of hidden agenda associated with them coming around, right? The advice here when it comes to desires that you don't feel like, if you don't put yourself first in these situations and clearing out things that you don't want, if you subject yourself to energy that you don't want to allow in, how can the energy that you do want come in? Like, you're telling the universe what you think that you're worth and what you're worthy of. Okay, this person doesn't treat me right. This person abuses me, talks down on me, tries to control me, uses me, X, Y, and Z, and I accept it. So this is what I'm worthy of, universe. This is what I want more of, because this is what I allow to come into my life. Clearing out that sludge tells the universe that I no longer am holding space for these things that make me feel this way. And it opens up space for what you want and what you want to feel. That's actually really beautiful. Okay. How can we better respond to triggers from the past? Because has a lot to do with dealing with the past and allowing the past to close itself out and not wanting to, because we're emotionally tied and connected to it. So how, if the card it wants to. I'm not going to take it because it didn't. How can we better respond to triggers from our past? How can we better respond? Three of Wands, those too many cards. I'm going to take the first two. The Tower and the Magician, and I'm putting them back. So how we better respond. Ooh, I want to talk about the bottom of the deck first. So this is the Knight of Cups. And this energy has to do with romancing, pursuing, and wooing something. And what I think we're romancing, wooing, and pursuing is the future. With the Three of Wands and the Four of Wands, this is forward movement. This is progression from one to the next. So this is about looking forward into the future. Oh, I'm getting visualization. Visualizing achieving the goal and the mark, and do it often. Because when you're courting something, this is like courting your future. So how do we respond to triggers from the past? By focusing more on the future, by not focusing on the past. You can allow it to be whatever it is. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to shift it. You don't have to do any of these things. You can release the past by focusing on the future and visualizing your desired outcome often. When you're romancing and wooing something and trying to bring it into your life, you're on it. I know when somebody is on me, they're on me. You know what I mean? If you want to be in a relationship with somebody and you're courting somebody, you're messaging them. You're letting them know that you're thinking about them. You're making sure that you're on their mind. And this is what you have to do with what you are trying to call into your life. Calling change into your life by focusing on where it is that you want to go, what you want to be, how you want to feel. Look at how happy and positive, optimistic, fun-loving, celebrating these people are in this card, because they have gotten to their destination. In this card, they were just hoping on it. They were just planning on it. They were just preparing for it. In this card, they receive it. So I feel like this is where we are now. This Three of Wands energy, we're here waiting. We've put in a lot of work. We're still planning. We're still preparing. We're preparing to reap a harvest, possibly, or preparing to venture out in something new with the Ace of Wands energy here, and visualizing and keeping the destination in mind despite the journey. That is how we leave the past in the past, by moving forward. You don't have to do anything with the past, but accept it and accept that it's closing. That chapter of our lives is coming to a close, and focus on the destination of where we're trying to be, what we want life to look like, how we want to feel, constantly over and over again, coming back to what it is that we want and what we see for the future. And that's how we let go of the past. That's how we respond to triggers from the past, is by shifting our focus to the future. That's beautiful. Where can we allow for more pleasure in our lives? I love this spread. This spread is so amazing. And I made it. Where can we allow for more pleasure in our lives? Spirit, where can we allow for more pleasure? Thank you. Collaborating more with others. Ooh, so okay, here it is. Here, and I'm just gonna say it. We have to disconnect from the relationships that we don't want so that we can welcome in the types of relationships that we do want. I think that this energy that we're experiencing is all about relationships right now. With this full moon or new moon energy, is all about relationships and letting go of relationships that no longer serve us, family members that don't serve us anymore, friends who are not in alignment with where it is that we're trying to go, relationships with bosses, significant others, and things of that nature. Hi, Sabrina. I'm glad that you're on here. I got somebody tuned into the live. Yeah, relationships that we want to let go of. We have to let that go so that we can call in collaboration with people that we do want, with that more pleasurable, more satisfying relationships. Even the relationships that we're trying to bring into our lives, that we're trying to make to be more satisfying, they're being hindered by relationships that we know we need to let go of, if that makes sense. So you might have new relationships. These new collaborations are already in your life. These people that are meant to vibe with you, they're already in your life, but you can't connect to them fully because you're still holding on to people who make you feel like this, or situations that make you feel like this, circumstances that make you feel like you're not grateful for the fact that God is trying to close these things out of your life and remove these people from your life so that you can move forward and have more passionate, fulfilling connections with other people. We're not excited about it. We're sad about it. We're worried about it. We're holding on to it. We're wondering how other people are going to feel about it. And we're closing off our opportunities to create and collaborate with people who are in alignment with who we are now, who we are becoming, and where we are going. So how can we allow for more pleasure in our lives? Again, this is about past versus future, and past people versus future people, past circumstances versus future circumstances, past places of living places to future living places, past businesses, new businesses. You see what I'm saying? We have to let go of our past identity of who we were and what tied us and grounded us to that identity so that we can transform and move forward. And the last question for this spread is, what stories are we telling ourselves that are not true in relation to these past relationships, experiences, and the identity, that past identity that we're connected to? What stories are we telling ourselves about that spirit that are not true? And how can we shift the narrative? What stories are we telling ourselves about our past identities that are not true? And how can we shift the narrative? I saw the Nine of Pentacles, but it did not flip. What stories are we telling ourselves? Five of Pentacles. I want one more card. How can we shift the narrative? Okay. Awesome. Six of Wands is at the bottom of the deck, so we'll be successful. Five of Pentacles here. What stories are we telling ourselves that we're, and it's right underneath the Five of Cups, that we're not worthy, that we're not deserving, that if we leave these people, places, and things, that we'll be left alone, that we have come to depend and rely on these individuals and these relationships and these jobs, that even though they don't feel good to us, they support us. They make us feel comfortable. They make us feel safe. And if we let those things go so that we can walk into the new, there's no guarantee that the new is going to come. So I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to be unsupported. I don't want to be left out. But see, the promise is that you're going to be more supported. The promise is that you're going to have new and fulfilling relationships and experiences in your life if you just surrender. Let this go and know and trust that everything is going to be okay. So how do we shift our perspective? King of Swords. With him being so high up in the sky, I feel like this is looking at a bigger picture. So expand your vision. We are hyper tuned in to a specific narrative and to a specific idea. This is the story that we're telling ourselves, that we need these people in our lives in order to feel secure and supported. And if we don't have these people, things, places in our lives, then we'll be alone. And the way that you shift the narrative is by expanding your perspective and zooming out. So we're zoomed in on these specific people, places, and things, but zoom out and see the opportunity for abundance elsewhere. Zoom out and see where else you can find, where can you find success? Because you're not finding success in these situations. You're finding comfort from these familiar people and these familiar places and these familiar situations. You're not finding success. So zoom out and shift your focus to where the success is, where you can find the success, who is successful, who is already where you want to be, who is heading there with you. And put your focus into those people, into those places, into those things, into those experiences. King of Wands. King of Wands with the Six of Wands and the Ten of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So this is being successful. This is victory. King of Wands with the Six of Wands, he was victorious at whatever it was he was going after, but he had to let go. He had to walk away from some stuff first. There has to be healing and release before we can come into this victory, before we can get to what it is that we want, because it's promised. It's there, but we're afraid that if we let go of what we don't want, that we might not receive what we do want, and then we'll be left with nothing. And that narrative has to shift. Zoom out on your focus. Okay, I'm gonna pull. I think this is a brand new deck. So if you're familiar with the Moonology deck, this is the Moonology Manifestation deck, which I love. I absolutely love this deck. It's one of the decks I got for Cyber Monday deal. So we're going to pull at least one card from here just to close out the reading. This is very positive and optimistic energy. It's just about the actions that we're taking to get us towards what we want, and whether or not we are taking in the action in the direction of our past or our future. Literally, the Three of Wands is clear underneath the Justice card. So what are we investing more in? Are we investing more in the new? Or are we investing more in the past? And where our focus is at is where our reality will lie. Let's see. Closing messages. Find a balance with the Libra energy. And lighten up Leo energy. So the message is that we don't have to take any specific action towards clearing out the past. With this find the balance and lighten up, there's literally nothing for us to do right now. Okay. Other than focus on the future. That's the only thing for us to do right now is to focus on the future. As we focus on the future and put our energy towards what it is that we want, what no longer serves us will naturally fall away. We have to give less energy to it. This lighten up. There are certain cords that need to be cut. So we need to give less energy to the things that we don't want and have to take any drastic measures. You don't need to shout in somebody's face and say, "You're cut out for my life." You know what I mean? Somebody said that recently, and I can't remember who it was. Like, you're cut out for my life. Oh, Trina. Okay, for my hip hop lovers. um, yeah, there's no action that needs to be taken with this energy. The last quarter moon, the full moon. It is time to release and surrender. So yes, release these connections, but it's more energetically and emotionally. You don't have to fight or argue with anybody. All you have to do is decide what it is that you want, choose a direction, and go in it. You want this future outcome, then take action towards it. And as it comes to you, things that are not in alignment with it are automatically going to shed and clear out. So, and be proud of yourself. Know that you can do it. Be proud of your accomplishments. Maybe don't focus so much on what you want that you don't have, but what you have that you once wanted. Because I'm sure you can find a lot of things if you shift your perspective to that aspect of it. You can find so many more things that you have now that at one point in time in your life you wanted but didn't have, versus those one or two things that you want now that you don't have. And if you focus on gratitude for those things in your life that you have now, that you didn't at one point in time, that you wanted or needed at one point in time, it'll make you feel better. You'll be more confident in your situation, and you make room for what you want to come in, because it's not going to come in as long as you're worrying about it. So that's the message that I have. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so happy to have you on here, Sabrina. I appreciate you. And yeah, happy new moon, you guys. Happy healing. Enjoy this energy. It feels good. It's light. It's energetic. I have a lot of energy and optimism and plans. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it how it feels to you. And I'll see you next time.